Hello and welcome back to Bump Love. We all know someone or at least a family that has dealt with a struggle that is substance abuse. And we can all agree that it is a vice that comes to steal, to kill and to destroy. And not just their abuser, but the relationships around them as well. Today we discuss addictions in teenagers. Joining us today is a former multiple substance abuser. Not anymore. He is Mr. Pierre Ntango.
Yes.
He's Executive Director at HAZEYouth for Youth Empowerment.
Yes.
He's also an aspiring artist and a record label owner, $1 Million Records Uganda. Thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Welcome.
Here, and
Thank
we
you
can't
for
wait
having
to
me.
hear your story.
Yeah, I hope I won't bore you people.
I'm sure you won't. So just to dive in, can you let us know how and when were you introduced to drugs and alcohol?
I was introduced to drugs by my neighbor.
Okay.
Yes.
At home?
At home. Most people it's at school. For me it was different. At home. So yeah, I was around 13, let's say senior one.
Okay.
Yeah, senior one. So my neighbor was passive
Your neighbor,
smoker.
is this an adult, a child as well?
No, he was around A level.
Okay. A level.
So he was also like a average user of marijuana
Okay.
and alcohol.
Okay.
And I was a curious soul. And we were
Like
good
any
friends.
13-year-old, I
Yes,
guess.
yeah. I've always been curious, so that was my problem.
Like, what were you doing on that
You
day?
know-
There's a place you to bomb, come and show you. What is it exactly?
You know that we're still in high school. I was
Yes.
in senior one, he was in senior 5. So we're still under our parents' roof.
Yes.
So that we had some restrictions.
Okay.
So when we were together going for evening walks, that's when we would,
Use.
indulge in that.
And there was nothing like triggering happening at home, maybe, you know, family issues that would force you to use. It was just out of curiosity.
I think because I come from a background of alcoholics. Sorry if my parents watch this. I want to be open. And yeah, tobacco smokers. So I grew up seeing alcohol. Yeah, exactly. So it wasn't new to me. But my older sister, who has never been a fan of that. You know, most people who are brought up in a family of addiction, most of them don't do it because, you know.
They've seen.
Yeah, and most times parents are like, do what I say, not what I
Because
do.
I do.
But I was the stubborn one because I'm the middle
There's
child.
always that one in the family.
Yeah.
I was that one, so that's what led to my demise. So we both got addicted to that substance.
together. So you
Yes,
started
together.
just a little and then.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about your first experience using marijuana? I want to know. I want to know.
My first experience was euphoric. Yes, because I feel like I'm a creative soul. So it was really fun for me. Yeah. I enjoyed it. Everything they say about weed was actual fact. You know, there's a good side and bad side. So I knew the good side of weed. Yes. For that, the beginning stages, you know, there are stages of addiction.
No, do tell me. I don't. I don't know. Never.
Okay, the first stage is excitement. You know, you do it as like you're paired. It's a group thing. So that's why I'm saying we're not addicted. Because whenever we're together, that's when we'd use.
When you were not together, you were doing other things.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's that.
Okay.
So when you're smoking as a group, it's not like on a regular basis. But when you start looking for it yourself, it's a problem.
So that's the next stage.
Yeah, next stage.
The next stage. So then it starts to become worse because the way you talked about it, like starts when it's nice and then.
How can I simplify
No,
the explanation?
Yeah.
I realize that I have an addictive brain. And I realize I'm a creative person. So I went a bit overboard because right now it's okay.
Also, you get addicted to having the good feeling.
Yes. You want
that
to be like
dopamine,
that.
you want to kind of,
You want to stay like that.
the dopamine
Yeah.
effect, I think is what they call it. And so you start to seek more of the weed to stay having that dopamine.
Yeah, to stay in that
So you
zone.
have an idea about that. So sex has the highest dopamine level. Heroin, alcohol, then marijuana, cannabis,
Yeah.
Oh.
then food.
Oh.
Yeah, I have that one.
Yeah,
The dopamine feeling from food, that one I get from there. So what exactly was, you've kind of talked about the appeal for you, it was that dopamine feeling. So based on on your story, it's like you started and then stopped and then came back again.
You know, when people graduate from school, people can also graduate from drugs. You know, from simple alcohol, weed, then class A drugs. So that was me, and most of my peers were doing that. Because I got high tolerance. Most of us. High, when your tolerance is high, like alcohol, you can drink a lot, smoke a lot. So we needed something that's fast and effective. That's why.
Wow. Yeah.
Yes.
So why did you say that's your lowest point?
That's
just a
'cause-
graduation, knowing that it's a class A drug
Yes.
and that now you were on it.
And I wasn't even aware that such drugs are here. But because I used to see it like on TV, when people speak of heroin, it's like a syringe,
Yeah.
black tar and a spoon, but actually it's powder. It's powder, and people lace it with marijuana, weed, and that's how it is. So I was actually introduced to it, like I was tricked into smoking it, because someone laced it, and I smoked it, and I got extremely high, at a very high rate, fast rate. So I was like, what's this? Is this a different strain of marijuana? And they're like, no, this is heroin, brown sugar.
Wow.
Yes.
So what can I ask? Like, I don't know if I'm allowed to ask. In general, like, where do you purchase this stuff from? Is yeah, like where does it, without reporting people, I guess. But do you get it from like shops? Do you get it from bars?
No.
Or
From
do people
they call it GT, from the ghetto.
from the ghetto?
Ghetto.
And heroin's expensive, isn't it?
Not necessarily.
That's okay.
We don't want teenagers watching this.
What is
But
expensive?
moms, you should know.
What's expensive is cocaine.
Cocaine is the one that's expensive.
Yes.
And they're selling like kilograms in grams, like how?
Grams.
Grams. Yeah, there's no way they can sell in kilograms.
Grams, and it's actually there's also crack. I forgot to talk about that.
Where is it? Between heroin and
It's sort of a chemical reaction, because heroin is a downer and crack and cocaine are uppers. So most people want to be in between. You first do some bit of heroin, then cocaine or crack. Then you're like stabilized. Because heroin makes you doze off, like you. Yeah.
Blackout. So, Pierre, clearly we have very many questions, but we don't have the time to answer
No,
all
it's
this.
okay.
I'm curious about the relationship between you and your parents. I know
Yes.
that to be addicted to drugs or alcohol, one, you need money to facilitate that. You were a student,
Yes.
which means there must have been some way you were getting these funds. And maybe you can comment on this even as I ask you a question about the relationship between you and your parents and how this journey affected that relationship and your wider family.
What I would say is that I actually wasted a lot of tuition.
You would
High school,
misdirect the tuition to...
Not high school tuition.
Yeah.
Like I said, I was expelled 7 times. And I was in international schools, Cambridge schools. So I was a bit more spoiled than the average
Ugandan
student. So yeah, I was in Cambridge schools. I was mostly in day schools. So every weekend, actually, like a Sunday morning, right now, I would be curing my hangover.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I have school the next day.
And what would mom be like in all this state? Because normally mothers, you know, it really hurts them more than even.
I was the golden boy at home. That's so much
The
hope
only
in
boy.
me. Golden boy.
The golden boy.
You were the golden.
I'm the oldest son.
Oh.
Yeah.
I have an older sister. So yeah, she thought I was going to, you know, she had so many plans for me. She saw I had the potential to succeed in life.
Yeah.
And you know, she was a bit hurt.
You were killing her dreams.
Yeah.
When
she expected so much.
when did she find out you were using? How did she and when did? At what point did she find out?
Let me see. I made one mistake because now I'd reached the point of addiction. I smoked weed. Can I use weed?
Yeah, that's
I smoked weed at home.
And smell.
Yeah, so that's when they found out.
That was at what age?
This is like 15.
Wow.
So
This is 2 years in.
Yes, 2 years in.
And what was she like? What
reaction?
was her reaction?
Actually, my dad found out first, then he kept it a secret from her. Then,
Yes, I really wanted to find out, can you really live in a house for 2 years and you don't know that your child is abusing drugs or
yes,
alcohol?
no, I was very
discreet.
I had eye drops, I had sanitizers before COVID, I had like sprays, colognes, so it was hard to tell. And you know, I don't know, but I think she was suspicious.
I'm sure they know because there is a substance abuse comes with behavior changes.
Yeah.
And if you really know your children, you can tell there's something and you're being expelled each year. So isn't she asking questions? Isn't somebody asking questions?
Yes. Actually, to go back to that, I wasn't expelled most times because of drugs, because of indiscipline, due to my drug abuse. So behavioral changes. So yeah, then they found out eventually.
So at first it must have come out
Like the first
being
three.
stubborn, teenagers, like Vanang is a teenager chankola, Antwala stupid.
The first 3 schools, I was expelled because of bad behavior.
Yeah.
Then after, when they found out, you know, and it's like a relief. I'm like, okay, now they know. So I stopped caring.
Yeah. Oh wow. Okay, so when did you now finally decide? This
Guys,
is
I'm
it.
done. Yeah.
I'm done. I ain't doing this.
Yeah.
I need help.
I need help. Like, what was it that triggered that
decision.
You know, have you ever heard about your inner child? Oh, because we're all kids at a certain point.
Yeah.
So we all had some ambition, a goal, a dream.
Yeah.
And I was deteriorating from that dream.
So what was your dream?
My dream was to inspire people, to help people, to be a leader a certain way, because that's what they saw in me. My relatives, my mom, like, because I'd always played the role of a leader and also creative. I was an artist, drawing, music, all that, even sports. I was physically fit. So, I don't know, I lost my sense of direction and I lost myself in that. Yeah.
You talked earlier about your mom. Would you like to share about how she also was an influence in your decision to stop?
I come from a Catholic home. I was baptized, confirmed. And she used to smoke. She still drinks. My dad still smokes and drinks. So I used to blame them actually for me being like this. But you know, now I'm grown up and I know that it's not their fault. They're grown-ups, they live their lives and they're responsible adults.
You're responsible for your choices as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I took that in and I only blame myself. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
So Pierre, what advice would you give to teenagers that are struggling with addiction? What can they do? How you overcame? you know, just give it all to them. I'm actually here for the stories. I feel like you've not given us enough, but it's okay.
I need to come back in a, you know, different setting because I have a lot to explain and tell.
Imagine.
But what I'll tell them is what actually derailed me from my destiny was the people I was looking up to at that point, like the artists or the people who are influencing me. Like, right, I didn't come from that age of like social influencers, you know, social media. So, but the people I was seeing and what was being portrayed to me on TV, because I wanted to be an artist, and I saw, okay, artists are rebellious, drug addicts. You can see all this. So, yeah, actually, like an outlaw. So I would tell them to look for better role models.
Yeah.
Nice.
Like maybe President Obama. Even in Uganda, there are many people, you know. So.
Yeah, but even artists, let's not say that artists are not good role models, because there are artists who are living clean as well and still doing amazing work. Yes. So if they still want to be artists, maybe let them look to the cleaner ones.
True.
Yeah.
That's very true. Yeah. That's very true. But if you're an artist, yes. So if you want to be a medical doctor, you look at the people, because some of them are also in that line of field of work. Most of them are addicts. Sorry to say that. So.
That's true.
That's my advice.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Pierre, for sharing your story with us. I'm sure it's been helpful to all our viewers. And if you think you know somebody who's struggling with substance abuse, recognizing the problem is the first step in getting help. Unfortunately, overcoming addiction is not an easy task, but it is possible with professional assistance and a suitable treatment program. And if indeed you do need help, please call the number on your screen right now. When we come back, we will be speaking to Pierre's recovery coach, and he'll be helping us understand how to support children dealing with addiction. Until next time, with love from Bump Love.